In addition to your kit, you'll need a pencil and a water and a paper towel. So your first step is you need to draw 2 circles for the eyes of the owl. Inside those circles, you're going to put an additional circle to make a donut almost. So you have 2 donut eyes. Once you're finished with that, we could start painting. You'll need your big brush and some yellow paint, and you are going to paint the donut yellow. This is going to be like the iris of its eye, the outside color. If your circles are not perfect, it's no problem, and you could paint outside the lines. That is a-okay. Once you're finished with your yellow, don't even wash your brush because we need to make orange paint. On the lid of one of your paints, you could make some orange by combining yellow, red, and a teeny bit of white. As you're making this orange paint, remember to clean your brush when you change colors. If your orange, like mine, is too red, you just add a little more yellow. If it's too yellow, just add a little more red. Once you have an orange that you like, you could start painting your canvas, making sure you're going around those donuts. Paint everything on your canvas, including the sides of your canvas. So once you're finished with your background, you're going to take your small brush and you are going to paint those smaller circles black. What I like to do is I outline the smaller circle and then fill in with black. Mostly dry, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start my feathers. So my feathers are going to be white first and then we'll add brown to them. I'm going to use both my small brush and my bigger brush. I'm going to start with my bigger brush. I'm going to put some white on it and I am going to do the top of his head feathers. So this is kind of like an abstract owl. So it's just going to be eyes, a little beak, and then some puffy feathers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with those feathers. I'm going to start between my eyes And I'm going to go as close to my eye as possible. And I'm just going to make a line on top of each eye, going around the eye and then up a bit. And then this space in between these two lines, I'm just going to start filling in with some more white lines. So there's no right or wrong to this. Kind of just put on a bunch of paint, see where it leads you. If your background isn't dry, you're going to get some orange feathers, which isn't a completely bad thing. So I'm going to fill in all that top. I'm going to take my little brush and I'm going to fill in some almost like eyelashes. All right, so I have my top ones done. Now I'll work on my bottom. So I'm gonna go around the bottom of my eye. I'm using my big brush, doing like a similar line to what I did up top. And I'm just gonna fill this little section in. I'm gonna take my little brush, gonna give it some like eyelashes on the bottom as well. They should be going up a bit. And now I'm gonna fill in the body. So I'm gonna pretty much make a line going down to the bottom of my canvas. And then I'm just gonna make curved lines on either side. One side and then another side, and then we'll fill in. And then in the bottom, when I get to the bottom, I'm just going to make shorter ones and fill in that bottom. Shorter strokes and fill in that bottom. I'm gonna go back to my body. I wanna kind of make that center line blend in a bit. You'll see I'm getting some orange coming through, but that's okay. And don't be afraid of paint at this point because you want it to be a full owl. All right, so that looks pretty good for my base coat. So my next thing I'm going to do is, since I have white on my little brush, I'm going to put some light reflections in the black of each eye. So I'm just going to make a line. I'm going to do it on the right side. A line. And then I'm going to use the back of my paintbrush and put a dot above it. So a line and a dot. Each eye on the same side. A line and a dot. At this point, I'm going to wash and dry both my brushes. And then we are going to start adding some brown feathers on top. So the brown goes on top of the white to add more fullness to our little owl. So I'm going to take my brush, big brush with some brown, and I am just going to put some brown on top of some of the white and to add some more feathers. And it's going to mix with some of the white so you'll get like a nice tan, but I'm going kind of directly over my white flowers, my white feathers, and then adding some additional brown feathers. You want to see some white coming out of that brown. It's a little fuzzy little guy. So I did my top. Now I'm going to do my bottom. gonna let that dry. I use mostly my big brush to do that. I'm gonna let that dry a little bit. While I'm letting that dry, we're gonna put some light reflections, some more light reflections and some more lines in our eyes, and then we'll do our nose, and then we're finished with our owl. So for the eyes, I'm also gonna dip my little brush in some white, and I'm gonna put actually a little light reflection in the white part of my eye, in the yellow part of my eye as well. It's just gonna tame that yellow a little bit. White in there. That looks good. You could hardly see it. I'm going to wash that little brush. I am going to get some black on my little brush. And I'm just going to do like a rough little outline around my eye. It doesn't have to be like the whole eye. Just a little black on the outside of your eye. And I'm not outlining the whole eye. I'm just doing a little. While I'm doing that outline, we're gonna draw our nose with some black. You can see my paint is still a little dry, still a little wet, but we're gonna use that to our advantage when we do our little nose, because our nose we're gonna make gray. So I am just gonna almost do a leaf shape for my nose. So I'm gonna do a curved line right here. And then on the opposite side, I'm gonna do a curved line going the other way. So I have like a little beak. And then once I have those two curved lines, I'm gonna wash out my brush, put a tiny bit of white on my brush, and kind of just blend all those colors in your nose until you get like a gray nose. My paint is very wet, but that's all right. Make sure you're drying your brush as you're painting. Putting a little more white just so it's a little bit lighter. After I do that, I'm gonna wash my brush. I'm gonna put a little black on it, and I'm just gonna roughly outline that nose again. Because we kind of blended all our black. So now it has a little outline. And I'm gonna put a white line. I washed my brush again. I'm gonna put a white line on the right side. All the way down the right side, so it's like a little light reflection. So there is our little fuzzy little owl. I'm gonna let him dry. You could add any details. The last step you should do is you should sign your artwork in the corner. So my name's Allie, so I'm gonna put Allie in the corner. So we're gonna let that dry, and then when it's dry, it's all ready to hang up. And it looks so cute. All right, hope you're having a great fall.